Hello everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In today's MTPredictor video, I'd like to take a look at a setup we've been following in our MTPredictor customers only training webinars over the last few weeks on the Euro US dollar. But first we have to look at our risk disclaimer and remind everyone that all examples in these videos should be considered as hypothetical. No trades are actually taken, they're just shown for illustration and training purposes only. Remind you there's a risk of loss in trading and investing. We'll be looking at a losing trade in today's video, and as such all professional traders should know and understand, but more importantly accept, that losses can and will and do unfold no matter what trading approach you take. The setup I want to look at is this TS3 W3 or Wave 3 trade setup here. This is one of our favorite MTPredictor trade setups because it comes at the end of a potential wave 2, and then following a wave 2 there's normally a wave 3. A wave 3 is normally the strongest and longest in a completed 5-wave sequence, and as such represents the largest profit potential in relation to the smallest initial risk. That's why it's one of our favorite trade setups. So let's have a look at this setup here. As usual, we go to the higher time frame chart. This is a time frame between 3 and 5 time frames higher, so a 4-hourly chart. You'd probably go out to the daily. So for this, let's go back in time a bit. Let's jump back to here somewhere, so a month or so ago. Let's go back to the last major swing high, which was there. We right mouse click, we do decision point. Can you see how that put an area of resistance? But that's on the chart in advance. It's there waiting for you. So as we go forward, we can see what happens. The market almost made it there, but then it made the level there before it started to come back down. In other words, it started to make a reversal at the anticipated level. This is what we're looking for in MTPredictor, because we understand that markets are random about half the time. In other words, you can't do any discernible analysis because the higher time frame pattern is not clear. So what we're looking for is a market that makes a reversal at the anticipated support and resistance zones. When it does that, we then deem that the market pattern is clear. We can then come down to the shorter time frame, so in this case back to the 4-hourly chart, and now look for setups that unfold in the new trend direction. Our MTP trend had gone red. This helped to confirm the largely downtrend of our higher time frame resistance. As such, you wouldn't be looking for buy setups, you'd be looking for sell setups. You can see there was a history triangle here, so let's go and have a look at this and show you that at this particular point in time it was actually a VS setup, so that wouldn't be a good setup anyway, because we know that a VS setup is best when it's a failure around a major high or low. But just for completeness, let's just see what would have happened here. It would have taken you into a trade, then you would have then been stopped out. So if you had have taken this, it would have been a losing trade. This is what I said at the start of the video, is that losses can and will and do unfold, no matter what trading approach you take. We use correct position sizing, in this case risking less than 2% of a sample $20,000 account, so this would be a 1R or 1 risk unit loss. We then had a TS3 W3 or Wave 3 trade setup unfold here. Why do we like this? Well, because this is a potential ABC correction. There it is, an ABC correction into a potential higher time frame wave 2 swing. In other words, we're coming off our higher time frame resistance. The initial decline down would be wave 1. The initial correction up then would be wave 2. We're then looking for, just clear that all off, for a potential wave 3 swing down. So if I now place the analysis on this, you can see this would be our target at our typical wave 3 WPT. As you can see, the target, if it gets there, would be a profit of approximately 5.5 times the initial risk. So in other words, 5.5 times the loss we saw a little while ago. So let's now turn trading mode off and see what's happened. I'll just reset the scale there. You can see this indeed is what the market's done. It actually went down to our typical wave 3 WPT. It's just hit that in the last couple of hours, where the profit was approximately 5.5 times the initial risk. So that's a good example of what we call a W3 or Wave 3 trade setup, which is one of our favorite trade setups in MTPredictor. Why? Because this is coming off the end of an ABC correction into a potential wave 2 to then trade the wave 3. In other words, trading what could be the longest and strongest swing in a completed 5-wave sequence. as such represents the largest profit potential for the smallest initial risk. And it was all set up because the euro made a reversal at high time frame resistance there earlier, in this case on the daily chart, where this trade setup was taken and followed on the 4-hourly chart.